Welcome back to the Neighbors Podcast. My name's Allie Parsons. I'm your host, and today is a fun conversation. Today's guest is Rachel Awtrey. Rachel and I actually went to college together 10 years ago, and we met in tour guides, which we talk a little bit about, and Rachel just released a book, and it's called Love Your Life Even When You Don't Like It All the Time, which I think is one of the most relatable titles ever. Rachel, I've loved watching her over the past 10 years, and just to be her cheerleader, whether it's supporting her podcast or being a part of a couple cohorts that she's done for female entrepreneurs. She just has a heart for people. And she is a ball of sunshine, and yet she's walked through some really hard things. She has been through seasons, whether it's losing her dad at a young age, whether it's miscarriage or the realities of being a military wife. She's walked through some things that just have made hard seasons, and she is choosing joy. And so we talk a lot about what it looks like to choose joy, one, when it's easy and fun, and when it's harder. And so I think this conversation can help really anyone, no matter what season you're in. And like I said, she's just a ball of sunshine. And so I know you're going to love her. And I hope you check out her podcast, Real Talk with Rachel Awtrey. It's an incredible podcast where she has all kinds of guests on talking about all the things they're doing for the kingdom. And buy her book. We'll put the link in the show notes, but go and pre-order or buy her book. And you don't want to miss it. Even buy a copy for a friend, because this book is really going to mean something to them. And as always, I'd love to thank our sponsors for today's show. And we even have a new sponsor today. And you might be wondering where these sponsors come from. These are all Neighbors fans and friends of our Neighbors community, and people that believe in what we're doing here at the Neighbors Podcast. And so I'm so grateful for our sponsors who are honestly making Neighbors possible. And so our newest sponsor, I'm so excited, is Bozard Ford Lincoln. So Bozard Ford Lincoln is a third-generation family-owned car dealership just off I-95 in St. Augustine. Whether you're looking for your first car or are a full-blown car enthusiast, car shopping doesn't have to be hard. Their campus holds over 10 acres of vehicle selection, 100 service bays, and even a place to grab a quick burger at Ford's Garage. You may even see one of their 40 mobile service vans in your neighborhood, making service more convenient than ever. The Bozard Ford Lincoln team knows that your car is part of your family's life. From little hands eating french fries in the back seat, to beach days and business meetings, they want to come alongside you for all your transportation needs, making sure all transactions are transparent, quick, and fun. So check them out at bozardford.com or bozardlincoln.com, or stop by and see them next time you are shopping for a new car. We love the Bozard family. All right, this episode is also sponsored by Grounds of Grace. The next time you're looking for a great cup of coffee with a great local cause attached to it, make sure to check out Grounds of Grace Coffee Company here in Jacksonville. Grounds of Grace Coffee Company is the for-profit to their nonprofit sponsored by Grace, which has been serving in the Jacksonville murder capital 32209 for the past 6 years, fighting for the gospel to be delivered into some of the hardest communities in our city. Grounds of Grace is widely known for their popular lattes, shaken espressos, fun seasonal drinks, and their iced plant-based refreshers. Check them out on Instagram at Grounds of Grace Jacks, or at one of their 5 locations in Jacksonville. This episode is also sponsored by Lay Construction. Lay Construction is a full-service general contractor specializing in commercial interior. Whether your project is office, retail, hospitality, faith-based, or industrial, Lay Construction services all market types. The company is Jacksonville-based and dedicated to serving Northeast Florida by delivering the highest quality work in the industry. For any of your construction needs, Lay Construction is your team. Check out some of their completed projects on Instagram at lay_construction or online at lay-construction.com. Now here's my episode with Rachel Awtrey. All right, well, Rachel, welcome to the Neighbors Podcast.
Oh, Allie, this is fun.
I just can't believe that we're here. Now, we need to give people a little backstory because what they see are just these two put together podcasters. And what they don't know is our story. Our story goes way back. Take us back to Clemson University, circa 2014, 14? And we met one fateful day. I actually don't even remember the day that we met, but we were tour guides.
I don't remember the moment, but I remember the season.
Yeah. We were both university tour guides, which I feel like anybody that ever finds this out about me, and I know it's the same for you, they're like, of course you were. Like, you were the bubbly, extroverted, person walking families around in your spare time to show them the university that you loved so much.
Oh, that checks. It checks out. That is beyond on brand. Even for us, like today, I feel like we're still tour guides, air quotes, for like so many different things that we love. But
Jesus,
yeah, we
tour
were
guides.
like the OG Clemson influencers, basically.
Yes. And now another tour guide recently just sent me a post from Clemson, and it showed like the new visitor center, and the tour guides are outside in the cutest outfits.
Of course.
And I'm over here thinking, they don't even know. First of all, our visitor center was a shoebox, and we were wearing these neon orange Clemson polos, collared shirts.
Dry fit Clemson polos.
Dry fit Clemson polos with jeans and ballet flats.
They don't even know. I feel like they need to pay respect. Like
They
bring back a
do.
vintage outfit. Yeah.
The vintage, the retro. Now they look so cute. They're all these athleisure,
Send me
like
that post.
skirt
Now I'm-
sense. I will. I'll send you the
Okay.
post after we get off here, because it will just be like, you want to tell them like you're standing on the shoulders of tour guides who were sweating in the name of Clemson University in our full jeans. I feel like we like had to wear pants or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like jeans, khakis, white jeans,
khakis.
no distressed. I think I would pull the occasional skirt and like see if someone said something. Yeah.
I loved that though. It was so fun.
I really did. I thrived. I
know.
loved it. Prancing across Bowman Field. If people know, they know. And you're just like, yeah, I'm a tour guide. Yeah,
I'm a tour guide.
parents
I mean-
following me.
I got parents. I got 18-year-olds who kind of think I'm funny, okay? And now here we are. You are, gosh, like crushing it. You're podcasting and speaking and momming and now authoring. Congratulations
Thank you.
on your book, which is so, so exciting. So give us, before we jump into your book and all that, give us just like a little bit of who you are, because your story really plays into how you got to writing this book. And so give us a little background of who you are.
Yeah, hey, I'm Rachel. I I think I've always loved fun, but I think growing into adulthood, our life, I feel like this is just the way that it rolls, but I think your life ends up being a little bit different than you had always imagined it being. And so today, that looks like I'm a military spouse. I did not marry him thinking I would be a military spouse. To Thomas, I have 2 little boys, so I'm a boy mom. We have moved, I think, 9 times in our 9 years of marriage.
Wow.
And we got married really young. So like we married each other with potential. That's all we had. Like literally just potential. We were young, dumb, and broke. But we got married straight out of college. Thomas, my husband, worked for a ministry for a while. And then we had what we call his quarter life crisis, where he's like, I don't want to do this. I was like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to fly airplanes. I was like, cute. And I want to be, and I was like, and I want to be.
And I want to be in Vogue.
Yeah, and I want to be like the editor, of Vogue. But that doesn't, okay. But we did. We like hardcore pursued it and did the whole Top Gun military training journey, which refined me and just asked a lot of me. And then in that, just life was lifing and things got tough. And I had to decide, like, do I want to be the sad beige mom, or do I want to like go for it and kind of live and the abundant life that I feel like God told me I could have, but I'm not sure how to actually implement it. So I just started sharing life online. So I love doing that on Instagram. I love the internet. Some people hate on it. I'm like, no. I'd do it even if I did it for free. Like if it wasn't my job, I'd still show up. I love it. And started a podcast back in 2018. And so I've just
And
been
that was
telling
when
stories.
podcasts weren't really the form of communication back then.
It was the wild, wild west. But we loved it. We figured it out. And then here we are today. And I again, like our life verse for our family is 1 Thessalonians 2:8. And it says, I was delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but my life as well, because you've become so dear to me. And that's it. I'm like, I'll tell you about Jesus. But the easiest way for me to tell you about who Jesus is to me is for you just to like come hang out with me, whether it's online or in real life. And I just like to host people. And that's like the best way for me to evangelize. Like, let me make you chili cornbread and then I'll tell you about the gospel, 100%.
Okay, when you say sad beige mom, I think there are a lot of women out there that could be in a similar season. Can you describe what that season was like?
Yeah. Yeah. Easiest way I know how to describe it is I felt like I was playing the role that they sold me was the role to play as a mom. And that is overly sacrificial. And like all of a sudden you have to mature and have it all together and go to library story times and call that fun. And that's where it stops. And you're like, oh my gosh. But what about the girls' nights, and what about wearing fun outfits that someone deemed inappropriate as a mom because it was the wrong color? Like, what? And so I just kind of signed up and totally subscribed to what that was. And then realized this is so not me. So is it that I don't like motherhood, or is it that I don't like the perceived version of motherhood someone told me it should be? And how to go through my own little identity crisis too.
It's very overwhelming when you become a mom. You have to learn this whole new part of yourself. You've never met this person, and your remnants of yourself are still there. Like, you're still you, but some of those parts get dulled and new things come to life, and hard, good and bad, or good and hard. Not to mention all while you're trying to like care for this new human in the world. And it's complicated. And the first year, who are we kidding? All the years, but the first year of motherhood was really difficult. Like, not even so much our baby, but me. Like, I felt like I had to reintroduce myself. Yeah, exactly. And I felt like a year postpartum was when this fog kind of lifted, and I was able to see, okay, I am still in there. I'm just different now. And that doesn't mean less. And I think that can be a slippery slope as moms, that now that we share ourselves more, that means that we are less. But love is an inexhaustible resource. So actually, we're still whole and we're not less. You just have to find like those new parts of who you are, which it sounds like that's kind of the journey you went on. Although you had a lot of other factors in your life too, like moving and new jobs. That's all a lot at one time.
It was a lot. It still is a lot. Like, even sitting in conversations like these where I'm having to like recall, like, did I really do that? Is this really the life I live? And I think that we all get kind of stuck in that, where you like are doing your normal, and then you realize, and you stop long enough to talk about your normal to someone else who that is not their normal, to realize maybe your normal is not normal. And you're like, oh snap. And then you get really overwhelmed. And so, 100%. I have now, and I had back then, and I will still one day have a lot to kind of sort through and figure out, how does Rachel show up to this the way that Rachel needs to, motherhood being one of them. Motherhood brought on a lot at once.
It's a microwave. It's a microwave of sanctification. Okay, so what were some of the things that got you out of that season? So you had the moment of like, there's got to be more than this. And then what did the next season of peeling back those layers, what did that look like?
It was not cute. You like go through things, and then you have people that watch you go through things. I think about this about college a lot, where I'm like, sometimes I see people from college and I'm like, should I cringe or should I hug them? Like, I don't know which version of Rachel they actually know.
Yeah.
And so I feel that way about this little situation of my life too, of like, I became a mom the same time Thomas quit his job. If you throw in a worldwide pandemic, then I miscarried quickly after having Maddox, and that was a bamboozle, and moving a lot, kind of lonely. Thomas was so excited about what he was doing, becoming a pilot, because that is exciting. Like, there was really awesome stuff happening. But then I'm like living in literal government housing and trying to make it fun and cute. And it just was clunky, not cute at all. And I think I got to a point where I just realized like that I wasn't having like deep, scary thoughts, but I was thinking like, I cannot imagine liking a life that I get to the end of if it continues to look like this. And now I feel responsible, not because it's a performance, but because like I also want Maddox to know that life is lovable regardless of circumstance. So like, how can I put that on display for him right now if I don't even believe that to be truth that I've applied to my life, but I know with my mind? So like, I better figure out how I make that truth tangible and not just a thought bubble in my mind that I was raised to believe in my Fun Veggie Tales home. I was like, no, I need this to actually be so true for me. And so I just started playing around, like truly playing around with life, figuring out like what lights me up inside. If we're all fearfully and wonderfully made and we're all unique, then that means what this does for Allie is going to be different for Rachel. It's going to be different for anybody else listening. So I just kind of had to start experimenting with the Holy Spirit, being like, what do I do to actually, I can't change my life, but I can change my mind. And so I need you to help me change my mind. Let's create some new habits, thought patterns, neuro pathways, whatever you want to call them. I was like, I just have to start there. And again, that process was not cute because it looked like unearthing things to replant stuff and untangling knots to rebraid things. And it takes work, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
I think it's really important what you just said. So it's one thing to get honest with your life and realize there's got to be more to this and I can't live like this anymore. And it's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to stay there. So it's good acknowledgement. But if you live there too long, that's when it can lean into, self-pity and a little bit more of like a victim mentality. Totally. So I love what you just said. It's like you get honest. And now how do I make the turn, pretty or not, probably not. How do I make the turn out of that mindset and I start to make different choices? But that's
and people
hard.
hear that and they're like, but that's hard work. I'm like, yeah, but you know what else is really hard work? Having to show up for a life you don't like.
Yeah.
So it's like you choose your hard. Do you want to do the hard work up front so that you can actually live a life in abiding with Jesus? Or do you want to do the easy, which is just to submit to the easy or to the hard and be like, this is going to overcome me and I'm just going to make it through. But the hard is on the back end when you're having to walk through all the consequences of your mindset and your behavior and the relationships that are falling through the cracks because of the decision you made up front. So like we all have a fork in the road decision to make and both of them are going to be hard. So the question is like, well, which ones is worth it for you? And I think for me and for anyone listening, the only thing that's going to be worth it is to show up and do our work and be obedient and abide with Christ, which will produce fruit at the end, but it means doing hard work at the front. So that's where
it's
that's
like
the fork in the road we're all at.
There's two ways to lay your head on the pillow at night. There's one, they're both exhausted, but one is exhausted because you've been white knuckling a life that you feel discontented in and you're just making it to the end of the day and just grateful that you're laying horizontal and you can turn your brain off for a little bit of time before you have to re-meet that same life that you're not content in. Or you land in the bed at the end of a full day where you have worked hard, you have poured out, doing the thing you know God has placed you in, and you're exhausted, but you're filled up. And those are two really different ways to be exhausted. One leading to a really rich, beautiful life, and one leading to a very empty, very shallow, discontented life. But we really do have the choice how we want to show up day to day.
Yeah, we do. And we have to.
Okay, so what have you found, maybe as you've been podcasting for how many years now? 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
7 years. That is wild. People don't, I'm not trying to say like my
moment,
job's
Allie.
hard. I just want to take a moment. No, podcasting is hard. Us showing up here today, this part is the easiest part. And I ran into a girl in a coffee shop right before I came to record, and we were talking about podcasting, and I'm like, it is hard. Like booking guests, all the back end, you got to create, there's just a lot to it. So the fact that you've done it for 7 years, most podcasts fail. It's something in the 90 percentile. Most podcasts fail within the first 10 episodes. The stats tell us if you make it beyond 10 episodes, you will end up being in the top 1% of podcasts. It doesn't even matter what your content is. Isn't that crazy?
Hair flip. Yeah, it's nuts. I believe it. It is hard work, but it's so worth it. It is worth it. I'm like, I say this all the time on my show. I'm like, oh, I just want to get this right. Like it's 50% for the people that are listening, and it's 50% because I always leave with wisdom in my back pocket I didn't have coming into the show, because I have some really awesome women and now men on the show that share their expertise or their wisdom or breakthroughs. And I'm like, yeah, let me borrow that. So I feel like
You're like, this might just be for me.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, if I stopped, it would be a loss for my own
Yeah.
heart. So
Yeah.
no, I'll show up till God asks me not to, but it has been a blast and also very hard. Yeah.
Okay, so through 7 years of podcasting, now working on this book, and you're out and about in your community. Like you're always doing events or hanging out with people and connecting with people, women especially. What have you felt like? What are some of the pressures that keep showing up in your conversations and your own journey that seem to be universal pressures that women face in their adult life?
Mm-hmm. And recently, this has been like, this is the one that comes to the top of my mind, is living in the tension of like gratitude and grief. Like, how can I be so grateful for what I have, want more, because I know that this isn't the life that, I mean, like, this isn't our home. This is only the first part. But then also be really discontented or like grieve what's not mine and what isn't for me right now that I really, really want. That has been like the conversation in my own friend group, in a small group that I lead. I feel like, especially with just like moms in general, just like constantly playing the game of like, I feel bad that I really enjoy this because I know that not everybody does, but then I also want what she has and I don't have it yet. And so I just feel like we're always like being like ping ponged in between these two boundaries. And that is tough stuff.
And it is a tension. Like you said, it's not necessarily a problem to solve. It is a tension to live in.
Yes. Someone told me a few years ago, I thought this was so good. It wasn't about this conversation, but it was just about tension in general. It's like tension is necessary. Like tension is why our favorite instruments are our favorite instruments. Is like a guitar needs tension on the strings to make music. And irritation is like also really, really good for us and produces something beautiful. It's how pearls are made. It's just two pieces of sand keep rubbing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and all of a sudden we get a pearl. What? So I think like even we're given this evidence in life and creation that like tension, irritation, disruption is actually the best parts of how our formation will happen this side of heaven if we lean in. But we also have an enemy of our souls that wants to convince us otherwise and accuse us that like we're wasting our time to lean into that, or it's too uncomfortable and there's other things that are more worth it. And I think we've missed out on a lot of really cool opportunity for our own sanctification and refinement because we're like, I don't know if I want to actually, like we were talking about earlier, like do the hard work up front. Like, but that's so worth it. So no, tension is actually to be celebrated because it's evidence that this is not our home, that there is more. But then it's also really beautiful that although this isn't our home, God's still trying to make it homey for us. And that's so kind of him.
Sometimes when it comes to like asking the Lord to unearth something in me or refine something, I don't want to do it because I feel like I don't have time to do it. Like my life is full and I don't have the capacity right now to work on a thing. And I'm saying all this a little bit tongue in cheek because this is ridiculous. This is just honestly how I feel sometimes.
Yeah, no, please get for real.
Because I have to show up to, I have things to show up to. I have kids I need to show up for. I have a husband to show up for. I have work to show up for. And I don't have time right now to fall apart. And if I start to open up parts of myself that I feel like God's telling me to, but I just don't want to, I don't know what's going to happen. And that's scary because, you know, I have people to show up for. Did you experience that at all in your journey? And kind of how do you work through that?
Girl, yes. This is what makes me so passionate is I'm like, that is the point that we get to that we're like, make this make sense to me because I'm supposed to do all these things without losing my actual mind.
Yeah.
But that like, I have to get over the hump to get to the other side while also trying to hold it all together. And I'm like, yeah. And I think this is where like we miss the secret ingredient to all of it, is where we're told like the joy of the Lord is our strength. The
Yeah.
joy of the Lord is our strength, not his wisdom, not like any mature quote, air quotes, like any mature thing is our strength. It's actually like the joy. It's the frivolous. It's the silly. It's the vain. It's the details. Like it's like the small little things that actually are the fuel to do that, to do the hard work well, that has kept me from losing it and like being checked into a loony bin. I'm like, it's the joy that's my strength. And I've been through things in my past, and it's funny too, because I feel like it's really precious that the Lord would give me this parallel, but like I'll get really detailed with you. But we had a miscarriage right after Maddox. And the way I walked through that miscarriage was you want to talk about like not holding it all together and like having to put things on hold and like your life exploding. That's very much what that felt like. Like it wrecked me. 2 months ago, we just had another pregnancy loss, and it was a little bit different. It was an ectopic pregnancy and was the biggest bamboozle of our life, I think, so far. And still healing from it. But can I tell you, my life didn't blow up? Not because it was easier, not because you put it on a scale and it was, easier to work through. I think it's just because I had enough joy tucked in my back pocket to be able to pull out at such a time as that, to be like, I've collected enough evidence to know what's true and what's good is for me, to know that like I will actually make it through this. And I do have the margin to step away because I did the hard work up front and I worked on offense. So now I don't have to work as hard defense. Like I can afford to actually lean in and do hard work because I also was doing hard work this whole time, rather than like waiting for the tragedy to happen and being like, oh shoot, I got to figure this out. It's like, no, I've kind of been like stuffing, like I think of like a savings account, right? Like for an emergency fund. It's like we think about that with our finances, but we don't think about that in every other aspect of our life. Like there has to be this like emergency fund that I'm keeping of, I know God's here. I see it, whether it's in small things, like very small, frivolous things, or really big monumental celebrations. Like I've been holding those close so that when things fall apart, that doesn't feel heavier for me. What feels heavier is what's good and what's true. And so that's where I'm like, I have been both girls. So I can tell you it's possible. I can tell you I know how you feel and why you feel that way. And I can tell you that the hard work is so worth it because I recently have seen it to be true. And I think it's just kind that the Lord's like, look, like we've come a long way.
Wow. That reminds me of one thing Jen Wilkin teaches on often is like, she's talking about it in regards to reading the Bible, but she talks about how we approach our relationship with the Lord or our relationship with God's word as what's the opposite of a savings account? Checking account.
Checking. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Finances. We approach it as a checking account versus a savings account. And so we approach it like I'm going to get something out of this that I'm just going to spend really quickly, when actually it's a savings account. So you don't have to feel something in the moment when you approach God's word or when you commune with God. These are all building blocks in the savings account so that when life throws you curveballs, you don't have this empty bank account of like, oh, I don't know where to go. You have this whole savings account that you've built over time. And that's the thing that matters, which is exactly what you're saying. And I love that. I love that parallel so much because it's so helpful in how we reframe how we think about God and our relationship with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's how you can, I'm like shameless plug. I'm like that. And that's why you can love your life even when you don't like it. I know. Like that's where this message comes from, is like, yeah, it's possible. Even though you're like rolling your eyes at it. I'm like, no, please just trust me. Just trust me.
Like I've been there. And that really is the perfect segue into your book. And one thing I know to be true about you is like, you're not just going to do something to put something out there. Everything you do is very thoughtful, and it's always going to look amazing because you just have your design background. So it's going to look amazing, but you're going to put something out there that you really believe in and that you've really written or done from a place of deep conviction of who you are. And so you're releasing your book, How to Love Your Life Even When You Don't Like It, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Did I get the subtitle right?
Like it all the time.
Love Your
Girl,
Life
you
Even
got it.
I got it. I mean, it's the catchiest title. Seriously, like everybody needs to read this book. And so why did you write the book? You know, we've talked about your story and some of the deep places you've been, but then how did that lead to writing a book?
Yeah. Well, I needed this so bad. I needed a book. I wanted so badly someone to like boss me around. I think I just was like spending so many brain calories and like all my margin on making it through that like any kind of 1 degree changes, I didn't feel like I had the capacity to take a chance on. And so I was like, I'm just gonna survive. Like I'm gonna make it through. And then when I feel like I have capacity, I'll start playing around, which is exactly what I did. I don't want it to take someone getting to the end of themselves to find their edges to then meet God and see the abundant life that we can live. Like I want them to live the abundant life right where they are, whether it's in the best season of their life, whether it is in the worst season of their life. And what I found, I consumed a lot of literature because I was like, please self-help me. Like I need all the audiobooks. Like I knew I needed help, and I even like was going to scripture, and that's great. And it is the word of God. So please hear me say this. Like it is living, breathing, alive, and it will meet you right where you are and give you everything you need and more. However, I really wanted something in my own cheeky way to like really boss me around, and I couldn't find it. And so I kind of just started sharing that journey like online because I was already sharing my life online. And then whenever all of the stuff started hitting the fan, I was careful with what I shared, but I very much people knew like, okay, she's really going through this. Like there's a lot in her life right now. And it was evident that I also was comfortable sharing like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm experimenting with. I'm going to try to get out of my house every day. I'm going to try to wear a little bit more color in my wardrobe. Like just kind of shared stuff and then was the science experiment. And I was fine doing that. And then I had someone awesome from the publishing world reach out and be like, this makes all the sense in the world to me. You're right. This is missing off of a shelf. And I think just having a guidebook to what it looks like to unlock joy right where you are, no matter what, with very practical applications is needed. And so that was very fun and easy for me because I was like, I've tried a lot of things and a lot of things have worked and a lot of things didn't, but could work for you. And so I just put it all in a book, which is so fun.
It is so fun. Yeah, you have this line at the top of the book, right on the cover, that says, a realistic guide to unlocking joy in life's messy, mundane, and magnificent moments. And it is fun to read that and to know you. It's always fun. We've talked about this. When you know someone before they were like doing the thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you see them do the thing and you're like, that just lines up
so
with who
sense.
you are, you know?
Yeah.
And I love it because this is like who you are, like the most realistic person. And somehow you do find a way, even amidst grief and hard seasons, you do find a way to find joy in that. And I like what you said, even about with your pregnancy story, the circumstances were the same. The circumstances were still hard and devastating and sad and hurt, but the joy is different. And so what we're not talking about is some 10-point list on how to make your life better. You might not be able to change some of your circumstances. Maybe some of you need to make a change, and that's possible, of course. But for the most part, we're talking about right where you are with all of life's mess, good and bad. How do you find, what is that thread of joy found in all of it? So what do you hope when women get to the end of this book, what do you hope to be true for them?
So good. I hope that they would look back and be like, okay, permission granted to not like it. I can stop being dishonest about that. And like, I'm asking for integrity, which means you telling me, look me in the eyes and tell me the truth, which is, Rachel, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like it here. I'm like, I don't know if I like it here either. You know, like the whole earth is groaning. We are all pressed and hurt and persecuted. Like it's not fun here. She's not fun. But what I hope that they get to the end of the book and see is that we also do hold a really cool opportunity to get good at a gift and a skill that we've been given that might have just been staying under, let's call it the Christmas tree too long. It's like we all have the gift and the availability of joy. It's free. There's nothing we can do to earn it. We definitely haven't deserved it, but God has given it to us anyways. So if we have this gift that's sitting under the tree and we unwrap it, that's step one. And I think a lot of us that are believers have done that. I think at the end of the book, they'd be like, okay, now I actually know how to use it and dribble it and run drills with it and get good at it. And I'm like, okay, good. Now we just start practicing it and we get good at that muscle. And it kind of becomes a habit and an overflow to your life so that when things do, because they will happen, our reaction and our perspective, totally different. And that's what's going to get us to the end.
What are some of the ways, because someone might hear, okay, find joy. So they're just like, okay, find joy, like bustling, closing their eyes and just hoping joy show up.
I know.
What is the way, and I know you unpack this in the book, so you don't have to go through the exhaustive list, but what are some of the ways that you found finding joy again?
Okay, quick overview. Definitely my friendships. I feel like friendships can feel very clunky, but those have a huge part to play. In my home, like how do I host people in my home? How do I feel at home in my home? What are even like rhythms and systems and like routines that I have in my home that aren't working for me that I've just kind of like subscribed to because that's the way everybody said I should do it. And then we talk about rhythms and rest and how like you're not even gonna have the space to go and find joy if you are so tired and fatigued all the time. And we talk about play, which is probably one of my favorite chapters. Just like I think that we've forsaken play for maturity. You know, like we're like, okay, that's for kids, you know, or how dare I have so much fun? That means I'm not being realistic with my life right now. And in reality, like fun and play is required for us to be able to live a sustainable life. And I kind of go through all of those in very practical ways. Okay, like what does making friends actually look like that can be the support for you and not just be like the furniture to show off? What does it look like for you to actually get good at playing and then not feel shame about it? And then, I mean, we kind of like really truly like walk through very practical things, but that's kind of overarching. We go through all those different topics because those are the topics that brought me literal life. And the Lord revealed to me we're going to be pivotal corners of actually building like a fundamental idea of what joy is, kind of bleed into all of them.
So when you talk about play, are you talking about like going in the yard and playing tag with adult
right,
friends?
And like splashing in puddles.
Or yeah, like what, or is it like a hobby that makes you come alive? Is it all of the above? Like how would you define play?
No, it's all of it. I think that first and foremost, I want people to know that like, and I'll say this too, just real quick, like a story. So I lost my dad in a very random tragic accident when I was in high school. And like all of a sudden I felt like I needed to grow up and be so for real with things instead of actually having the permission to be a teenager. And so I think I just lost play and like fun and adventure because that's what I was sold was mature. Like a mature Christian really knows how to grieve and like be sorrowful and like talk about hope and all the things. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I also think a mature Christian also knows how to have a dang good fun time because if anyone should be setting the tone for what fun is this side of heaven, it should be us believers, right? Because we know the end of the story and we have the greatest hope. And so I think that I was like, wait, church needs to wake up. We need to realize that we should be having so much fun and that fun is actually a tool for evangelism to be able to share the gospel with people and to be like, that is the gospel. Like, despite what's happening, I have a greater hope through Jesus that I am able and actually allowed to enjoy this earth, even though it's broken or whatever, because I have been made whole through his blood. So like, why not? You know, I want to put like that preface on it. It's like, we need a permission slip for play. So play can look like a lot of things. It literally could look like stomping on puddles with your kids in the backyard. Like it can, and it does for me sometimes. I think it could also look like going on a walk for the sake of going on a walk and not getting your steps in. It could look like dancing in the kitchen and putting a song on repeat because you want to memorize the lyrics. Like it can look like these things that sometimes we just skip over. And I think even like the enemy of our life and our souls like wants to convince us that it's dumb and stupid. And like, who are we to really delight in that? And meanwhile, we have a God who's so kind that has planted weeds on the side of the road that look like flowers for us to enjoy, that we're like, that's not what's important right now. What's important to me right now, and like getting really robust with life. And God's like, no, I'm trying so hard to pursue you in all the details and you're missing it. And so I have found play to be like the most healing part of this journey for me.
Wow.
And I think honestly that came through a lot of motherhood. But again, like I don't want it to have to take someone entering motherhood to realize the value it can play in our lives.
Yes. I think it's never too late. Like I think about my mom retired a few years ago, and she was a boss executive woman at she owned a company, and when she retired, one of her biggest goals was, I want to laugh more. She felt like she hadn't died of laughter in a long time. And having grandkids really helped with that and everything. And just this past weekend or 2 weekends ago, my mom and then our 3.5-year-old daughter and I went to, our friend was having this dance recital. It was like a reunion, 40-year reunion of this dance studio. So our friend, who's in her 30s, which that she was doing her version of play, she's in this reunion dance recital. So we're going to support her. And I end up tripping and like throwing this water bottle. Classic. This is like story of my life. I'm very clumsy. And my mom is bent over in half, crying of laughter. We get home that night. She's trying to tell my dad and my husband, Wes, the story, and she can't even get it out because she's laughing so hard. And I just had this moment of like, yeah, I don't know that I saw my mom die of laughter for a lot of years, but she decided that she wasn't too old to get back to what she wanted to get back to. When she retired, she was like, I'm going to enjoy life more. And then just seeing that years later, that she really is living that out. And so for anybody listening, what encouragement would you have, no matter what season of life they're in, that it's not too late to regain the essence of play?
I'd say every excuse that we have and we give ourselves to not enjoy play because we're too old or because life's too hard or our situation's too unique is the exact reason actually why play is required.
Yeah.
It's like using it as the fuel rather than the excuse. I'm like, okay, so you're too old. I mean, I'm looking at the same clock you are. Like, we got to enjoy it. Or like life is too hard, air quotes. I'm like, exactly. So like, where's the reprieve? Like like play and joy was not made for the people that already have it all together and are young and whatever. It's like, that's the place to practice it. And that's the place, again, to play offense, not defense, but play and joy and fun and the frivolosity of all these things was actually created, again, like for our strength and our fuel to be able to see it to the end, to be able to get through it. Like I consider it pure joy when I face trials of many kind, right? Like for the joy set before him. Like we're given all these examples throughout scripture that joy is for the people that were imprisoned and in poverty and seeing the hard stuff right in front of their face. It's not for only the kids or only the weddings and the celebrations. It actually has more airtime in the places that are so hard and for a good reason, because that's what's going to get us through. So I'd say for anyone that's like needing some encouragement that it's for them, I'd be like, the reason why you're seeking encouragement, that you need the permission, is the exact reason why it exists. So like harness it, like get good at it.
I was just thinking this week that it's kind of a bummer that the only time we have organized dance parties is weddings. Because now
sis,
I'm out of the wedding season, and I was literally just having the thought that like I kind of want to start making like my birthday an annual dance party because I love dancing so much. When you talk about like what is the thing that makes you come alive in the realm of play, me dancing. I love to dance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when am I going to be dancing again? Like in my kitchen, of course, but I'm talking true. I want glow sticks. I want a DJ. I
hear
want
you.
it to be so loud. My ears are ringing. The next day I want my feet to hurt. That kind of dance party.
That's so good.
So
Girl,
I think I got to
I'm like
organize it.
line dancing, concerts, go wedding crash. You need to be a wedding crasher.
Wedding crash. What do you feel like is your main play? Like what really brings you alive?
Yeah, okay. For sure, crafts.
Crafts?
Getting
Oh, not me.
tactile. Do you see what I mean though? Isn't that so cool? We all have different things. And so for some
It
people
is.
it's like going on a 5-mile hike. I'm like, yeah, no, take me out. I'm done. I cannot.
Yeah, I literally went on a retreat with you and we were hiking and I was
They were
trying
like,
to talk
does anybody
you
want to go
into
on a
the
6 a.m. hike? I said, better not. I think I'm just gonna sip my coffee. Y'all have a blast. Report back.
I was really
But,
trying
like-
to sell you on like the social aspects. I thought maybe that would get you. Like we're gonna make so many memories. No, you could not be convinced to come on this hike.
I said, cannot be convinced. I'm just so for sure for me, it's like crafting. Like, and what's so funny and my challenge for the people that are like, I'm not sure what my thing would be. Think back to like as a kid. Like, what did you enjoy? Was it
Yes.
sports? Okay, then like go and get active. Was it when you got to go outside and romp in the mud? Okay, then it probably is the outdoors. Like you probably loved to dance / did you dance actually growing up?
I actually
No.
didn't. I always wanted to, but I was always making up dances. Like that
There we
was
go.
like what I did with my sister or friends.
You were
Yeah.
the music video girl.
And they still exist horrifyingly on YouTube.
Like go back to like the way your DNA works. How did God make
great.
you from the get-go? What did you enjoy? For me, I was like, give me some fabric and a sewing machine. I can have myself a day. And it's the same today. But like for me, I'm like, who am I to scrapbook? Like that's so dumb. And then I'm like, no, actually, like there's something here. And it's not that like the scrapbook or the dance party or whatever it is people are listening. Like that's not the fruit, but that's the work so the fruit can be produced. That is the like place that my mind's freed up. I gain more margin. I have breakthrough. The Lord meets me when I'm cutting up paper and putting on stickers and coloring my adult coloring book. Like it happens. It's so weird. It just happens because we actually tap into a different part of our brain when we do open it up that way for play versus when we open it up for logic and all the things people have convinced us is mature. I'm a better mom when I play. I'm a better wife when I play. I'm more creative at my work when I play. Like I feel like I can worship more freely when I play. And that's why I'm like, let's not write off play as immature because then I think Satan wins because he's like, that is the secret sauce. And I just don't want, I don't want people to subscribe to that, you know?
I do. And it's like it's part of God's character. God is the one who invented enjoyment and fun and pleasure. And I think we can forget that sometimes, that God is the ultimate fun, playful God. Yeah. And he's the one who created these opportunities. And so it's not like just something shallow to fill your time with. Like you said, there is a way to actually worship through play. I mean, my husband, to then kind of touch on like the male side, my husband will say when he's on a golf course, and listen, I don't get this at all. Like I actually feel the enemy's presence on the golf course. But he's like, when he's on a golf course and he's looking out at the expanse of green and he's trying to get this little white ball in the hole, he feels closer to God. Which again, it goes back to the like crafting for you, not for me. It's just, it is such a unique thing. You have to identify like what are the things that fill you and get your cup full so that you can pour out. Like this, the chief end is not just for you to feel good. The chief end is so that you can pour out and do the thing God's called you to do.
It makes us strategic and efficient and like carriers of the gospel well. And I don't want to be sluggish and boring. That is not, that ain't it. I'm like, that's not me. And that is not strategic and efficient in terms of building relationship and relational equity and to be able to like actually hear people and be heard by people. Like that's not going to be it either. Like even think of like your favorite leaders and you see them just being human. You're like, that is so refreshing. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay. Exactly. It's the same. Like that. It is refreshing.
Yeah. Okay. So last question. Do you have any handles for people, like, not that you should get overly scheduled, but how often, because it's kind of a new discipline. People are going to have to schedule play. Okay.
No, actually,
so what what have you found rhythms wise is best to start to get yourself back into play?
I want to say play once a day, but I don't want you to hear me say play once a day. Therefore, you have one wedding you're attending a day for your dance party.
Right.
Check box. You know, like I think that this is where like a spectrum comes in. I think just like practicing it and any discipline, it's like you have to do it enough, even when you don't feel like it. You have to show up still to get good at it. Like even our favorite basketball players, like Kobe, right? Like he showed up in the rain and ran drills. Like he probably, if the gym was closed and he was like, oh shoot, I forgot it was a holiday, he probably found another gym. Like we have to expect some disruption to every intention that we have to do this well. And so doing it once a day isn't for the sake of doing it once a day and checking a box, but it's to prove it to ourselves that like, one, it's worth it, and two, I'm good at it, and three, I can figure out how to do it even when it's hard. So I'd say once a day. But again, this is not a formula. Please hear me say that. It's just like for funsies, literally like for the sake of play. And again, like mix it up. Like for play, today for me looked like trying like to like whip up a new breakfast thing for my boys and like make some shapes out of pancakes, right? Like that's play to me.
Yeah.
So I also don't want us to be so locked in on it that we miss actually what play is. So
oh yeah, we can forsake the forest for the trees very easily.
Easy. Yeah, especially as women. So don't make it too complicated.
Well, Rachel, I'm so pumped for you in this book, and I think it's going to help a lot of women, both one, feel seen, and two, know now how do I make a change? How do I shift my perspective, not to just muscle through life, but so God can actually reveal more of himself to them. And we'll link the book, all the places, and anything else, anywhere else people can find you that would be helpful to them as we close our conversation.
Yeah. Hey, I feel like people that listen to this are podcast people. So maybe come hang out on both sides. Real Talk with Rachel Awtrey is the podcast name. And yeah, the book is anywhere books are sold, and would just be so honored. I think it would make a really fun, like, I keep thinking about this, like a book club book, because then people can actually read through this, obviously with people, but then be able to debrief and talk about kind of like what we talked about today. Like, hey, how do you find this? How do I?
Yeah, I feel like we just modeled the mini book club version of the book.
Perfect. Yeah. No, it's going to be more fun with people for sure, but it also is going to be a blast on your own.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and we're so excited.
Thank you. You're amazing. You're a joy. What a cool way to connect again.
It is. It's so fun. All right, I'll see you on the tour guide route. Thanks for listening. We'd love for you to join us in The Neighborhood, our Patreon community. It's a space for the good, the hard, and the hilarious. A place where real life happens. It's $5 a month or any additional amount you choose. You'll get a podcast episode once a week from Caitlin and I, plus additional videos, early access to events and merch, and more fun things we'll do along the way. So come join us by going to patreon.com/neighborspodcast and sign up. We'll see you in The Neighborhood. And if you enjoy Neighbors, we'd love for you to leave us a 5-star review anywhere you listen to the podcast, or subscribe and give this video a thumbs up on YouTube. Sharing is the best way to help our conversations make it into more corners of life. To grab your favorite Neighbors merch or resources, you can head to our website, theneighborspodcast.com. Neighbors is produced by Logger Creative, audio by Taylor Minning, and music by Austin and Lindsay Adamak. See you next time.
Brighter days, new mercies every morning. You never shy away to tell me that you're for me. How could I repay this? Whatever